Most people in life are trying to figure out, how do I make a life worth living and a retirement worth having without getting hit by the liars of the land? You see, the liars of the land befriend us. They take advantage of us. They tell us that they need help, or they don't tell us, and we surmise they need help. We give them all our possible help that we can, but if their soul is not prepared to serve others, there's nothing that we can do to help them. In life, part of our responsibilities are opening the doors for other people, helping them to network, helping them to liaison, helping them to get further in life. That is truly what it means to reach out and touch someone, or reach out and be a good neighbor, as Mr. Rogers would tout in the children's program. Be a good neighbor. Well, being a good neighbor is caring for other people. Being a good neighbor is letting people borrow our skill sets sometimes, and being a good neighbor is paying someone what they're worth. The liars of the land want to take our rights away. They want to steal from us our personhood, meaning the rights to our own beings, the rights to our own personal space. Last evening, while I slept with a small journal in my back pocket, as I typically carry it, and I do sleep in my clothes, that someone put their hand in my pocket and stole a religious object out of my journal. I have a letter chart that I utilize from practicing of my faith, of which I'm a master craftsman at. And the person who stole it, I'm pretty sure, is a black woman in the military who I met on a bus. I could tell you her name and her rank, but that wouldn't do me any good, because she is long gone by now. The foolishness in her heart is she believed that I need the chart. The truth is, I don't need the chart at all. I can completely do a reading without the chart. I've been gifted in that way because the Lord protects my life. He doesn't protect it all the time, because I'm learning about the ill will in the land. I'm learning how people feel entitled to harm another human being. I'm learning how people feel they have the right to haze another human being for their beliefs of faith. I'm learning how people violently attack a human being's life if they don't like what they're doing with their body. There are plenty of people in this world that are putting plastic in their bodies, ruining their health, destroying the beauty of their faces, like some women that I know who get all this Botox and all this plastic surgery. God bless Joan Rivers, who finally passed away. She was a stunningly beautiful Jewish woman before she did all that shit to her face. But that's just an old man speaking. The reality is, I thought she was lovely just the way she was when she took over Johnny Carson's stick whenever he went on holiday. But I guess she didn't feel lovely enough in her soul. Or I guess the Hollywood elite made her feel ugly. Or something, I don't know. I don't want any woman that I know to get that done to her. Women are beautiful all over the place. No matter what their size, no matter what their height, they're stunningly beautiful. But the reality is, if I say such a thing, I'm somehow a cad to notice. I don't think so. Men notice all the time. They ogle all the time. I don't do those sort of things. I was raised with a different type of view of women. I have lots of women in my life in terms of my siblings, but they're not in my life in that I want them nowhere near my life. They have violated my rights. They have violated my body. They have violated my records. And openly, I keep saying this. And does anybody in law enforcement go and take care of that for me? Not one. So in life, we have moments of time to tell the truth, and I'm telling you the truth, that I'd like to have my situation left alone. And yet, someone keeps getting into my pants pockets. They literally opened my pants the other day, allegedly, and pulled into my short pockets, unzipped my short pockets, took out a zippered pouch that I keep some special items in for the woman that I love, and literally took those items. They also took my black men's rosary beads, which were plastic and given to me by a priest, but still, those were mine and my religious object. And isn't it a federal offense to steal religious objects? You see, these young people think they're playing a game on someone's life. They walk by, they assess the situation, they decide, instead of taking something out of a bag that's right there and present, let's take it off his person and see if he wakes up. So then we can pound him down if he wakes up, or just steal from him if he doesn't. The lie these men and women are telling themselves is that it's okay. So if it's okay for them to do that to me, then maybe it's okay for me to do that to them. Although I would never in a million years think of touching another human being without their consent and permission. I remind myself of this regularly because I like to watch the dogs walk near the canal. And many of them know my heart and soul because they all are pulling their owners to come see me. I'm serious. They literally pull their owners over to me. I guess the light of the Lord shines in that way, because it certainly can't be my scruffy face that they're interested in. But the reality is, I always try to ask, may I pet your dog? For two reasons. Because when I was a child, I reached out to pet a dog and nearly bit my hand off. So that was a good lesson to me. And I got scolded by a very ooky owner who said, you shouldn't have done that. But at the same time, from that lesson, I have learned that there is a regard for another human being's property, that I'm not going to pet a dog unless the owner gives me permission and lets me know that it's safe to do so. Some dogs are being totally manhandled by having a noose around their mouth so that they can't bark and they can't nip and they can't bite, and some of them deserve that. Others of them don't, but they're trying to protect themselves lawfully from the fact that they're out in public and they don't need a litigation situation to arise from an overexcited dog meeting someone. It's kind of interesting to watch how the dogs come around the wheelchair and how they interact with it, because all dogs need to experience what that's like. Some are very timid and are shy, but their owners don't encourage them to explore. I certainly don't want them pissing on my wheelchair, but I think it's okay for them to recognize that a handicapped person is there. The reality is that people are vile against homeless people. I've seen this now for many months. That people just think it's okay to make fun of them, to trip them, to steal from them, to take their bungee cords that holds their life together, and to get their hands in their pockets or in their bags or in their items and take them, as if their value of their life doesn't matter as much as the person who still has a home life does. I don't know what we have to do to change the landscape in America. What I do know is that we need a president that recognizes international human rights treaties. That is the first fundamental thing that every human being in the United States is expected to follow. There are 27 or so articles, and that treaty was signed by over 400 countries. So if you are an American citizen, you are supposed to be paying attention to what that treaty says. Then we have federal law and constitutional law, and the Bill of Rights, our amendments, literally let us know what our actual rights are in this land. That we have freedom of religion, we have freedom of assembly, we have freedom of mobility, we have freedom to carry arms if we want to protect ourselves. We have freedom to have our personhood, our paperwork, and our property not monkeyed with by any militia. And the list goes on. But the truth is that people today forget why America was founded. They forget why America is the way it is, and they take it all for granted because they literally lie, steal, and cheat people out of their goods. It was demoralizing to wake up this morning and find my religious item gone. I've had this happen on numerous occasions, and I'm pretty sure it's one family who I met in Westfield. She's the only person I had shown a few things to, and it's all those things that are now missing after dropping the hints with her. You see, I learned something long ago, which was to give a person a piece of very private information and to watch how they managed it. And from then on, I would know exactly what kind of person they were. And openly, if they mismanaged that information, then it showed what their character was. It also showed me whether or not they were a safe person to give information to that's private, or whether I should avoid it altogether. In life, we have moments of time to remind people that there's a person of interest camera almost on every street, and I literally sleep right in front of those cameras, which literally means that anyone in security and anyone in law enforcement can literally find out where I am, and they could be the ones allegedly doing things to me, but they're forgetting is that somebody else owns those cameras that they're monkeying around with. And in life, when we do that, we put ourselves at legal and lethal risk. In this moment in time, I'm going to wrap up because I am tired, and I'm physically tired because someone continues to monkey with my rights to my life. I'm getting ill, which is true, because someone decided to monkey with my medical care that I've had for 20 plus years of my life. And someone else thought they would just step in and make controls on my life that are not their lawful right under any God in heaven or any constitutional right to give them. In Jesus' Name We Go is often the title of a book that I'm working on, and I'd like to encourage people to look at their lives, to look at their relationships that are in dysfunction, and to ask themselves one question: what would Jesus do in this moment in time? And when you can answer that question, then you proceed with the relationship. If life's not going well for you, it might be because you pissed off God, is true, but at the same time, He might be giving you lessons to last a lifetime. In Jesus' name we go. Take care of one another and literally pay attention to the federal laws that bind us all. Thanks for listening.